All right, massive breaking news. The White House is scrambling to hold an emergency meeting in order to block the release of more Epstein files. This comes only a few hours after Democrats on the House Oversight Committee released multiple emails showing Jeffrey Epstein and journalist Michael Wolff talking about Donald Trump's deep interactions with not only Epstein, not only Ghislaine Maxwell, but Trump also spending hours with victims of Epstein. I'll go through the emails in just 1 second, but the update that we just received now is that the Trump admin planning a meeting over House efforts to force the release of all of the DOJ's Epstein files. What we see is a split in the Republican Party between people who want transparency, people like, surprisingly, Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, a few key players who we don't agree with on almost anything, are actually out there trying to force the release of these files. I mean, Lauren Boebert, I don't agree with on anything, but she's been out there talking to the victims more so than like Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. So there is a difference between the way that they are operating. Now, Donald Trump is holding a secretive meeting, not so secretive now, with all of the Republicans who are defecting, who are detracting and trying to make sure that the files are released. That's why we just learned, just a few minutes ago, top Trump admin officials are planning to meet Wednesday about an effort in the U.S. House to force a vote on releasing the Justice Department case files related to Jeffrey Epstein. Just to back up, the reason why they're scrambling is because the content in these files. Jeffrey Epstein said to journalist Michael Wolff back in 2011, he says, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Blank victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned, police chief, etc. I'm 75% there." So essentially, Jeffrey Epstein and Richard Wolff then talk about how they can blackmail Donald Trump. In these emails, they talk about how they can blackmail Donald Trump. 2 years, 3 years into Trump's presidency, Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. To continue, Jeffrey Epstein in 2018 also said, "I know how dirty Donald is." This one reads, "It makes no difference whether it was his money. Issued his failure to disclose, plus the fact that he lied his ass off about making it clear that he knew it was illegal." Jeffrey Epstein says, "I think he makes the argument that it was his, Trump's money, making it not illegal." Though he also said he only found out afterwards. At the very, very top, Epstein says, "You see, I know how dirty Donald is. My guess is that non-lawyer New York business people have no idea what it means to have your fixer flip." So there's this whole world of corrupt New York business politics that I'm not a part of. You're likely not a part of either. I don't know anyone who's a part of this deeply corrupt New York business world, but Epstein and Donald Trump were both a part of this deeply corrupt New York business world where certain lawyers and fixers were trying to cover things up. And Epstein was basically saying, he was like, "I don't know if anyone fully understands how dirty Trump is if you're not in the New York lawyer scene," right? And now the entire world knows. But to continue here, Ron Filipkowski says, "If Republicans took 10% of the time and effort they've spent covering up the Epstein files towards working on a healthcare plan, they might be able to put one out for the first time in decades. But clearly, covering up Epstein was more important to them." JD Vance. And really quickly, have you ever asked yourself, who's reading my email? Because with the current government's overreach, the NSA and FBI can legally monitor your messages and even buy your private data. It's true, look it up. That's why I use Proton Mail to send and receive messages. They have end-to-end encryption, meaning nobody can read your emails but you. And they're based in Switzerland, outside of US jurisdiction, meaning they're protected by actual privacy laws, like legitimate privacy laws. And it makes surveillance like Section 702, which allows the government to access any of your data without your knowledge, and makes that all completely powerless and just useless. You now have your own privacy. If you're coming from Gmail, they have a tool that makes switching over basically just 1 or 2 clicks. It's the easiest way to protect yourself. So go to proton.me/Adam, click the top link in the description, and sign up for a free account right now. Again, go to proton.me/Adam for a free account. Thank you. Back in 2021, JD Vance said, "What possible interest would the US government have in keeping Epstein's clients secret? Oh, ... So J.D. Vance 4 years ago was able to come to the realization that the government, or maybe certain officials that are in the files, have an incentive to hide it. But now he's effing blind. He has no clue that this is happening. Or he does, and he's okay with it. Max Cohen says, Speaker Johnson is downplaying the latest Epstein-Trump connection revealed in newly released emails. Speaker Johnson said, quote, another publicity stunt by the Democrats. They're trying to mislead people, Johnson said. I'll refer you to the Oversight Committee's response by the Republicans. The response from the Oversight Republicans will be like, actually, pedophilia is good when Trump does it. That's not actually what they said. That's just a joke right there. But then, Rapid Response 47, the Donald Trump official rapid response account, this is run by his White House. It says, quote, it's all a tired con job to smear the president. Democrats redacted the victim's name because the victim said Trump couldn't have been friendlier. Wow, so they just revealed that the victim right there was Virginia Giuffre. That Donald Trump has spent extensive amounts of time with Virginia Giuffre. To continue, the emails to longtime Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell and Michael Wolff show that Donald Trump, quote, knew about the girls, seemingly in reference to Trump's claim that he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago for poaching young women. All right, now let's return to this main article. Top Trump officials were planning to meet Wednesday about an effort in the U.S. House to force a vote on releasing DOJ case files related to Epstein. One of the sources said that the planned meeting would include Attorney General Pam Bondi, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, FBI Director Kash Patel, Republican Lauren Boebert of Colorado, who has wanted the Justice Department to release their trove of Epstein files and has signed on to the effort in the U.S. House. So they're probably going to try to talk her down and get the threshold back under 218. But what an insane conflict of interest. Could you imagine if Merrick Garland met with Joe Biden in the White House, and then they met with people who were involved in this case because Todd Blanche was talking to Ghislaine Maxwell. Remember, Trump's personal lawyer, Todd Blanche, was put into the position of the Deputy Attorney General, the second highest law enforcement officer in the country. Then he held multiple closed-door meetings with Ghislaine Maxwell where she lied to him. We know she lied to him now. And then she was moved to like a minimum security prison. It's insane. CNN has not yet confirmed if the meeting has taken place. We don't know if it has taken place yet today, but it will. A spokesperson for the DOJ declined to comment. Still, the intention of a meeting underscores the Trump admin's concerns around the Epstein saga. So there is something deeper. There are more files that are to be released, not only by the Epstein estate, not only from the DOJ, not only from the House Oversight Committee, but there are more files held by multiple parties. So we have more releases to come. The intention of the meeting underscores the Trump admin's concerns around the Epstein saga. I think concerns is understating it. Trump is running around hair on fire, which roared back Wednesday morning when the House Oversight Committee released more documents it had obtained from Epstein's estate. The Justice Department files, which capture years of investigation into a child sex trafficking ring, could include details the House hasn't obtained. The controversy around Epstein and his contacts with other powerful people, including Donald Trump, has divided the Republican Party in recent months. You know, I was rather agnostic. A year ago, I thought Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein had a creepy relationship, but I'm agnostic as to whether Trump actually had his own, ring of, or whatever. I was just like, I don't know. But the way the White House is acting and the way that Donald Trump acts every single time he steps in front of the camera, also the way that Donald Trump has historically been okay with abusing power dynamics the moment he's able to, whether it's beauty pageants, whether it's grabbing women because they let you do it, whether it's abusing power dynamics in politics, kind of all comes together to paint a pretty unsettling picture. So 3 Republican House members, Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Nancy Mace, have signed on to efforts from Representative Thomas Massie, a Kentucky Republican, and Ro Khanna, a California Democrat, to force a vote on the release of the files on the House floor. The pair is set to receive this 218th decisive signature from Adelita Grijalva Wednesday afternoon, allowing the push to force a vote to move forward. Now, Adelita Grijalva is in. We're in business, and she's going to vote yes. Should anyone, like Boebert, remove their name from the petition, Massie and Khanna would no longer have the support needed to move forward. If they are able to successfully lobby Lauren Boebert during this intense White House meeting with officials from the DOJ and FBI and Trump, then we will not be able to see what's in these files. They are trying to prevent a longer news cycle because they know this won't be good for Donald Trump. And in the process, they are hurting victims. They are hurting people who could potentially be affected if some of these people reoffend. I mean, I know a lot of this happened in 2010, 2011, but there could still be people out there, absolutely powerful people out there. Some of them could be in the White House, wink, wink. Under the arcane procedure of a House discharge petition, if 218 members of the House, which is the majority, sign on, they can force a floor vote in the chamber on anything, even if the leadership opposes it. Such an effort rarely succeeds. We will continue to push forward and cover this. If you appreciate the coverage, drop a like, subscribe. I love you all. And